Africa is your live breakfast show delivering informative, entertaining, and energizing start to your day.
Our expert reviews break down the headlines and help you make sense of today's news.
We bring you nothing but the most interesting highlights on our top African stories.
Plus lifestyle features, inspiring interviews, and the best on the continent.
Every episode is packed with stories that inform, inspire, and celebrate the spirit of the continent.
Catch us live every Monday at 9 a.m.
And be part of the conversation on our social media platforms.
Hello Africa, bringing the continent to your morning.
Hello Africa, keep watching AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
For 60 years, the Association of African Universities, AAU, has championed collaboration, innovation, and excellence in higher education across Africa. For 6 decades, universities across the continent have worked together to advance knowledge, develop human capital, and drive Africa's transformation. Now, as the AAU celebrates its Diamond Jubilee, the continent's higher education community is preparing for a landmark gathering. From 20th to 23rd July 2027, Nairobi Safari Park Hotel, Kenya will host the 24th Conference of Rectors, Vice Chancellors, and Presidents of African Universities, COREVIP 2027, to commemorate AAU's 60th anniversary celebration. Co-hosted by KCA University, this special edition of COREVIP will bring together university leaders from across Africa, government policymakers, global higher education partners, industry leaders, development organizations, technology innovators, research institutions, youth, and student representatives and other higher education stakeholders. Convened under the theme Universities for Africa's Future, repositioning African universities for resilience, relevance, and global impact. The conference narrative connects leadership, investment, innovation, skills, AI, partnerships, and policy. Positioned as a springboard for the future, the program uses the anniversary to launch new initiatives, establish legacy mechanisms, secure commitments, generate declarations, and create investment opportunities among the numerous engagements, as the conference would be a continental policy platform attracting heads of states, presidents, prime ministers, education ministers, and development banks, among others. The conference also offers an opportunity for various communities of practice in higher education to meet, network among themselves to strengthen their professional collaboration and plan training sessions to enhance their delivery capacity. These categories of personnel include academic leaders, bursars and finance officers, university librarians, registrars and academic affairs officers, quality assurance officers, ICT and chief digital officers, student affairs and counseling officers, university advancement and partnership officers, researchers and student leaders. CoreVIP 2027 sponsors are not only exhibitors, but integrated into investment fora, roundtables, partnership marketplace, reception events, innovation pavilion, and an award ceremony. Universities and other academic networks are invited to leverage the AAU's 60th anniversary summit to organize their mini summit alongside the Nairobi event. Be part of this historic Diamond Jubilee celebration. Register today and join us in Nairobi, Kenya from 20th to 23rd July 2027.
In higher education, visibility is influence, and influence begins with strategic communication. AAU TV presents the Media Masterclass for higher education institutions, a practical, impact-driven training designed for communications officers, media and journalism students, researchers seeking greater visibility, and professionals ready to amplify institutional impact. Learn how to transform research into compelling stories, master digital content strategy, strengthen crisis communication, and optimize your institution's presence across broadcast and social media platforms. This is not just theory. It is hands-on, practical, and tailored specifically for Africa's higher education landscape. Join the AAU TV Media Masterclass. Register now. Limited slots available.
Hello Africa, keep watching AAU TV.
Good day and you're welcome to the Hello Africa Morning Show. We come to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana. And now to our top African stories. The Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, has directed public officers in tertiary institutions who also hold executive position in political parties to resign from their party roles or be relieved of their public office. In a statement signed by Deputy Director General Professor Augustine Oklu, the Commission said the directive covers vice chancellors, principals, pro-vice chancellors, vice principals, registrars, directors of finance, deans, heads of departments, and other senior officials. It has directed governing councils and management of tertiary institutions to ensure full compliance with the law.
The statement drew the attention of institutional heads to Section 26 of the Political Parties Act 2000, which bars a chief or public officer from canvassing in support of or against a political party or a candidate standing for public election. GTEC said the law prohibits public officers from holding executive positions in political parties to prevent actual or perceived conflicts between their official responsibilities and partisan interests. adding that the provisions are meant to safeguard the neutrality and integrity of the public service. It also referenced the Public Service Commission's long-standing position that public officers who wish to engage in active party politics or take up party executive positions are expected to relinquish their public office first in line with the relevant constitutional and statutory provisions. GTEC cautioned that public officers in leadership positions must not simultaneously hold executive roles in political parties, describing as worrying reports that some institutional leaders and senior managers continue to serve as party executives while holding public office. The Commission said the practice undermines the political neutrality, impartiality, and public confidence expected of leaders within Ghana's public tertiary education system, stressing that institutional leaders must uphold these principles in the administration of higher education. GTEC says it trusts that all institutions will continue to uphold the highest standards of integrity, professionalism, and political neutrality in carrying out their statutory mandates to help the Commission ensure the effective and efficient management of tertiary education institutions in Ghana.
The Minister of State for Public Sector Reforms, Lydia Lamisi Akanvariba, says all public services will be fully digitized to ensure efficient delivery to citizens. Speaking at a workshop in Accra on the National Public Sector Reform Strategy, known as NPSRS2, she said the strategy was being finalized to provide a whole-of-government framework to guide reform across the public sector, and that her ministry was working with the Ministry of Communications and the National Identification Authority to bring key service providers onto one platform.
Ms. Akanvariba said the strategy, sponsored by the World Bank, cuts across ministries, departments, and agencies including local government, finance, communications, the DVLA, SHRAJ, and the Passport Office, and builds on lessons from the first phase, including delays in the release of funds, which the new strategy aims to address. She cited plans to cut queues at the DVLA, extend the 24-hour premium passport service nationwide, and complete SHRAJ's case management system so Ghanaians can access services from anywhere. She said the document would go to the Chief of Staff and then Cabinet for approval before heading to Parliament, and is expected to be ready by the end of the year, with a monitoring and evaluation team set up to assess its success annually. The head of the civil service, Dr. Evans Agredako, said the public sector must be reformed continuously to meet citizens' growing demands, warning that institutions decay with time and government must do things differently. He said reforms will target structures, systems, business processes, and personal capacity with customer service at the center, and that the strategy focused on digitization to cut human interference and corruption, alongside decentralization, gender mainstreaming, ethical leadership, and linking pay to performance. A statement from Deputy Chief of Staff Nana Oye Bampo Ado, delivered on her behalf, said the strategy builds on reforms dating back to 1987 by placing stronger emphasis on measurable outcomes, noting that despite progress in digitization, revenue mobilization, and procurement, challenges remain, including fragmented coordination, weak performance management, and bureaucratic delays, which planned actions such as stronger monitoring and end-to-end digital transformation aim to address.
Clinical epidemiologist. So we'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue the story.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
This is Hello Africa on AAU TV.
Clinical epidemiologist Professor Fred Binka has called for the Food and Drugs Authority to be split into separate organizations, one for food and the other for drugs, saying the agency can no longer manage both efficiently. He made the call while delivering the keynote address at the opening of the 10th West African Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens Research Conference at the University of Ghana. He proposed a model similar to the European Union's with a separate food safety group and a medicine group.
Prof. Binka said the country was losing its grip on food, noting that while malaria and diarrhea were once the main health concerns, hypertension, diabetes, and cancers linked to the foods and drugs people consume are now on the rise. He said many foods now being developed as seedless, genetically modified foods with no long-term follow-up on their effects, and called for the training of more bioscientists to study what people eat and how it affects their cells and the disease that result. He explained that Ghana currently lacks enough people trained in that area and that the country could consider splitting the FDA once it builds up that capacity. Called on the newly established research fund to be channeled towards areas with skills and scientist gap, and in a later interview urged the FDA to outsource some of its testing to certified institutions such as Noguchi and WACBIB. The conference, held under the theme African Bioscience at the Interface of Health, Disease and Environment, brought together scientists, policymakers and public health professionals from across Africa. WACBIB's founding director, Professor Gordon Awandari, highlighted past studies presented at the conference, including research linking a genetic mutation to hearing impairment in Ghana and studies on plant-derived compounds and drug resistance in malaria parasites and bacterial infections. The Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Abba Apia Amfo, said WACBIB has made significant contributions to genomics, infectious disease research and capacity development across the continent since its establishment.
Also, the head of the UN's World Food Programme, Kausal, says the Ebola outbreak in eastern Congo is deepening an already severe food crisis. Speaking during a visit to Ituri province, he described the outbreak as a crisis on top of crisis, noting that around 5 million people are facing emergency levels of food insecurity, with some areas at disaster level, and that the Ebola outbreak is making the situation worse. Kauskal said the outbreak's impact on market and supply routes has left people struggling with even more hunger. A long-running conflict in eastern Congo has already pushed nearly 10 million people into crisis or emergency levels of hunger, with Ituri province the epicenter of the Ebola outbreak, among the highest hit, counting for 1.9 million of them, according to the WFP. Across 48 health zones affected by Ebola, the agency says more than 2.7 million people face acute food insecurity, including 628,000 in emergency conditions. The WFP says it has also far delivered more than 160,000 hot meals to patients, contact and frontline workers across 17 treatment and isolated centers. Scow said getting food to those in need is a critical part of the response, warning that without it, people will remain more concerned about what to eat tomorrow than about following guidance on containing the outbreak. The Ebola outbreak, considered the fastest in history, has recorded 3,360 confirmed cases, including 1,487 deaths since it was declared on May the 15th. Officials have warned that it continues to spread faster than health workers can track, despite an expanding response. Also, hundreds of migrants have swum from Morocco to the Spanish territory of Ceuta in recent days, overwhelming border security and reception centers, local authorities say. The leader of Ceuta's government, Juan Jesus Viva, said more than 1,500 migrants, including adults and minors, have reached Ceuta by sea in the last few days, adding that the reception centers are collapsed and saturated. He noted that 60 bodies were spotted at sea over the past year as migrants have died attempting the crossing.
Spain's interior minister, which oversees borders and tracks irregular migration, would not confirm the number of crossings or say how many migrants have reached Ceuta by swimming, referring journalists instead to its bi-monthly migration report due out on August the 3rd. Interior Minister Fernando Grande Malasca acknowledged in a television interview that authorities are facing an extraordinary and exceptional situation, saying they are dealing with it using the resources already permanently deployed there. Spain's Civil Guard, Maritime Rescue Services, and the Red Cross have been using boats to pick up swimmers before bringing them to Ceuta, where hundreds are now sleeping outside a reception center that is over capacity. According to activists in Morocco and Ceuta, those attempting the crossing are mainly Moroccans, along with a smaller number of Algerians who had been living in Morocco while trying to reach Europe. It remains unclear what prompted so many migrants to attempt the swim. Vivas pointed to a recent Spanish Supreme Court ruling which found that migrants arriving by sea cannot be immediately pushed back across the border without due process, unlike those who cross by land, such as by climbing the border fence. However, Omar Naji, president of the Moroccan Association of Human Rights in Eastern Morocco, expressed doubt that the ruling was behind the search, saying most Moroccans would likely have been unaware of the legal decision.
That is all for the top African stories. My name is Jemima Deladem Doche. Up next is News Review. Stay tuned.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Are you a university, college, high school, private organization, NGO, individual professor, instructor, or facilitator seeking to take advantage of the numerous benefits of online education? Look no further. The AAU eLearn Africa LMS is a great opportunity to begin your journey to online course development and creation for teaching, learning, and training purposes. AAU eLearn Africa LMS, which is a partnership between the Association of African Universities and eLearn Africa, has made available ease to use online learning tools to all stakeholders within the educational ecosystem of the African continent. This is to enhance teaching and learning in the bid to expand online learning opportunities for students in Africa. The online platform is open and available for free to all stakeholders and facilitates virtual access to classes without needing the other tools such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, among others. For more information, visit www.elearnafricalms.com or contact us via
AAU TV Media Masterclass is back for its second edition. The AAU TV Media Masterclass From Visibility to Influence is a 5-day in-person program from 7th to 11th September 2026 that equips African universities to turn academic work and research into strategic, public-facing content. This 5-day intensive masterclass brings together higher education public relations officers, communications and media professionals to sharpen skills in strategic communication, media engagement, digital storytelling, and institutional branding. Participants will leave with practical outputs, including a brand statement, content calendar, and media plan, helping their institution attract students, funding, and partnerships while positioning AAU TV as a continental hub for university storytelling. Register now to take advantage of the early bird rates and secure your place using the link on your screen.
Applications are now open for the 2026 Youth Connect Africa Export Accelerator. The Youth Connect Africa Export Accelerator, developed in partnership with UNDP and the African Union, is a results-driven initiative that enables export-ready youth-led enterprises to scale into intra-African markets under the AFTA framework, particularly its protocol on women and youth in trade. The program addresses key barriers limiting youth participation in regional trade, including non-tariff barriers such as complex custom procedures, regulatory compliance gaps, and weak aggregation mechanisms. Through tailored diagnostics, enterprise strengthening, export readiness accreditation, and improved access to finance, the e-accelerator aims to drive measurable market expansion, mobilize investment, and foster sustainable job creation across the continent. Application deadline is 16 August 2026. For more information, visit the official webpage of the Youth Connect Africa Export Accelerator.
Hello, Africa. Keep watching AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Hello and welcome back from the break, and you're still live on the Hello Africa Morning Show, coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana. My name is Philemon Edwards, and I'm doing this segment with my colleague
Jemima Daladambe.
How are you doing, Jemima?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good, but I'm tired. Long weekend, but we'll be fine.
We didn't see you exactly. You had a long weekend, so I'm wondering why you are back.
It was not
for
play,
tired.
It was for other things. So, but I'll be fine.
You don't have a choice, actually.
All right. So before we get into the stories for today, over the weekend there was this issue of a comment by the Ahafo Ano Southeast MP of Parliament Yakubu Mohammed during a school children's visit to Ghana's Parliament, and it has sparked a public debate after he told a young girl, "You are very beautiful. When you grow up, I will marry you." The remark has triggered discussions on child protection and the conduct expected of public officials and the responsibility of leaders when engaging with young people. The MP has apologized anyway, admitting the comment was inappropriate. But, I mean, generally, what do you think?
Okay. So first of all, this particular story, for the first time, I actually shared my opinion on my personal WhatsApp status. When issues like this come up, I really don't like to. I talk about it, but with maybe colleagues or friends in person. I don't want to put.
You don't do a public display of your sentiments.
Yes,
okay.
But this particular one, after watching the video, I was like, no, it didn't make sense because students are from Tamale. They are kids. Like 8, 9 years. I mean, maybe the older should be 10, you know. And we have come to the Parliament House to get some inspiration, to look at what our leaders are doing, to look at how things are being done, law I mean, no matter how little they are, I mean, they know their laws and all,
Yeah.
everything like that. And I come and my takeaway is, my takeaway as an individual is, you are very beautiful. When you grow up, I'll marry you.
Yeah.
I mean, and the fact this is the thing I said on my status, and I said that whatever speech he was giving had nothing to do with the statement that came. He was giving a speech where he was talking about the fact that, oh, this is the school he went to and he wanted to be an MP and now he is. And I mean, this is, very encouraging and inspiring for little ones like that to, I mean, listen to you. And all of a sudden, he stopped and then like, you, what is your name? And if you see the little child actually stumbled, like, I think she mentioned her name twice.
Okay.
Like, you could see that she was uncomfortable because, I mean, what's happening? Okay, what's your name? And I think she mentioned her name. And then the statements came, yeah, beautiful. When you grow up, I'll marry you. You become an MP. I mean, if it was a general statement, we had males and female students, right? So if it was a general statement, it would have made, say, more sense than single-handedly, picking a lady out and then saying that, and this is a minor. Like, this is, I think from speculations, I think the child is between 8 or 9 years.
Okay.
And this, and you find people online saying that, oh, you people know that the MP was joking. You people know that the MP didn't mean what he said. And apparently, when the apology came out, he says that, I mean, this is like a joke between. He mentioned two towns, and there is a joke in the north that, is it the Mamprosis? He mentioned something, and then he was like, okay, so this is a joke that normally goes on between these people and these people in the north, so it's a joke. But the thing is, fine, even if it's a joke, look at the person involved, look at the circumstance surrounding whatever you are doing, and their purpose. And then you just say something like this, and I mean, everybody actually knew that he was coming out and he would say it's a joke. Obviously.
Yeah.
But you see, this boils down. Let's look at the larger picture, okay? There is a statement where there's a statement our teachers in the primary school used to do. Sometimes when you are in the university or maybe SHS, you hear the teachers mostly telling the guys that, oh, your future wife is yet to be born.
Yeah.
If I am 13 years, 15 years, and you are telling me that my future wife is yet to be born, that means like 15 years intervals between myself and then my future. It doesn't make sense. And you see, we make these statements and it's in people's head, and you realize that this person gets into the university, and excuse me to say, we'll be targeting somebody in the primary. And we have this issue coming up where you hear that, oh, today this person has done this to a young lady, a young girl, raped, abused, a young. You see, we make these statements and then we do not see what effect it has. But I mean, as society, I think it is high time we wake up to some of these conversations and try and then limit or maybe stop making some of these statements. I mean, when we're young, with your parents, somebody will say, oh, but no, excuse me, say, oh, your child is very beautiful. When she grows up, I want to. We have to stop. Let's stop it. Let's stop all those conversations because they are not helping. Right now, we don't see the magnitude or the effect of these statements. But you look at an MP, and regardless of how jokingly the statement is and how everybody takes it, now it will go a long way to maybe have an effect on the child. Now, when people realize that the video or the statement that was made by the MP was sensitive, now they were blurring the young lady's face. I mean, the pupil's face. And it was too late because the original video was already out there.
Yeah. I very much share your sentiments because first of all, the purpose of the children's visit to the Parliament House should have superseded every other comment or conversation that came out of this thing. I'm sad to see that a member of Parliament who's supposed to be a role model, okay, and definitely is a public figure who's supposed to be making impacts and having positive influence on these children, rather comes up with a joke. Look, I get what a joke is. A joke is meant to make everybody laugh. But there are things we call expensive jokes. And this is definitely one of them. If he really claims that this is a joke, no problem. Then this is one of the most expensive jokes I've heard, because to put a child in this condition, now this matter has become conversational. It was all over on social media.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to see this on X, and the kind of conversation that goes on X is very intense.
Well,
the back and forth and comments under the videos were crazy.
We're just crazy.
People are actually even saying that if it's possible, this guy should resign, or he should be forced to resign. As
you know,
a
the
member of
funny thing
parliament.
too is that somebody was saying that, I mean, the parents, I'm not saying that's what the parents did, but maybe a parent will be somewhere and then will be like, oh, this is great because the MP has spoken to my daughter, and then he's saying that my daughter is beautiful.
Yeah.
You see, the society that we are coming from actually plays a
huge
role.
role. Yeah.
Exactly. And we don't see anything wrong with it. But honestly, just like you said, after he has issued the apology, I mean, that is it. But in a very working system or a country, I mean, he should have.
Yeah. He either should resign or should be forced to resign, because this is completely inappropriate. So this brings me to the point where I'm always thinking about where we have to draw the lines as a society. Okay, because like you rightly said, sometimes society even will make this thing look like, or the child's parent feel like, oh, my daughter has been complimented by a member of parliament, which in quote should be a positive thing for them. But the backlash generally tells you that this cannot be a positive comment, because even if you were just going to say this child is beautiful without saying you're going to marry them, there were a bunch of kids there.
Exactly.
When you single out this person and say this person is beautiful, what are you trying to tell the rest of the people that are there?
Exactly.
Okay. So, and kids have a way they consume information. Whatever you have told them right now sticks in their mind. Now, we are in an age or an era of technology where there's social media. This video is going to be online forever. Even if you decide to delete it from social media, people have saved it already.
Have it.
This child will grow up and will become more knowledgeable and come to understand this thing, and would think or realize that, okay, I was probably sexualized as a child.
Yeah. And
the trauma alone.
And even looking at the other side, a child can look at the sexualizing part of it and try to feed on it.
Yes.
And then, excuse me to say, now they'll be behaving in a certain way. I don't want to use some words because we are on a public platform. And you see, you realize that now the child is, excuse me to say, like behaving in a certain way and sexualizing everything they're addressing, and automatically it's like the child changes.
Yeah, because they have been influenced by a certain information or conversation. So I feel like this, regardless of the apology,
should he resign?
Oh, he should. As a matter of fact, I think that the Speaker of Parliament should look into this. I mean, he's the leader of the.
But you see, the funny thing is that myself, I kept asking myself a question, and I was like, okay, you were given a speech. So is it that at that whole time that you were standing there, you were looking at the child?
Yes, what exactly makes you get off the main speech
and then just pick somebody out? It's like you standing there, excuse me to say, I mean, allegedly, maybe you were having your own ulterior motive.
Yeah,
it just
crazy.
doesn't make sense.
It's crazy.
Honestly, it doesn't make sense.
The kind of comments I saw on social media, if you want to begin to go into some of those words, like you said, this is a public platform, so we will not want to do that. But like, it just tells you how outraged people are as a result of this. And for me, as a big no, and I would be, I don't know if I'll be unsatisfied or dissatisfied if the MP doesn't get punished or something. But I think that there should be a certain level of punitive action taken against him, because this is completely unwarranted, very that's the word, very, very unacceptable. As a member of parliament in this country, look, Ghana is a very respectable country on the continent and even at the world at large. So for people in public office to be able to do and say these things
just like that,
I mean, no. I mean, I'm struggling to.
And I don't, just like you said, you know, kids have a very a way of, you know, accumulating information. As young as they are, whatever you tell them is what sticks into their head. So you telling her something like this, going home, maybe you might not realize, and you know, sometimes the kids do not want to say anything. it's in her head.
Yeah.
However she's thinking or she's feeling about it, you really
cannot tell.
But then you realize that at certain points, maybe it would influence some of her decisions and all that. But you would not know where exactly that influence is coming from. And then when you backdate it, you realize that some of these things are actually making more harm than
you
good.
know, when people grow up and they are having midlife crisis, they are having all sort of problems emotionally and in whatever ways, in every aspect of their lives, some of these issues stem from childhood.
Yeah.
And so I'm just worried because this is on social media, and now the internet does not forget. So for me, give and take, like you said, maybe this girl should probably be around 8 or 9. In the next 10 years, she is 20 years old, probably in uni. It's just easy to find this video and play it back. Or look, I just hope and pray that she will be fine. I just hope and pray that she will be fine. I just hope that she'll be fine. So hopefully everything should I don't know, but we'll see how.
But I mean, so far as he has rendered an unqualified apology, I guess we'll take it like that and then look at what will be done moving forward. Hopefully, we don't know, but maybe.
We'll see. We will have to go on a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll zoom into the main discussions for today. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Hello, Africa. Keep watching AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Ever wondered what drives ordinary people to do extraordinary things? Every week, a new story unfolds. But these aren't just stories. They are the journeys of courage, resilience, and vision. On Impact Stories, we open the door to remarkable personalities and everyday heroes. Experience the passion behind their purpose. Witness the setbacks, the breakthroughs, and the moments that defines a legacy. Journey with us on AAU TV every Saturday at 4 p.m. as we celebrate those who are making an impact. Tune in to Impact Stories, where real people share real journeys and real impact, each one leaving behind a legacy written in gold. Only on AAU TV.
Welcome back from that break, and we're just about to get into the discussions for the Hello Africa morning show, coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities. And doing this with me is my colleague, Dr. Ajimano Shedakon. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good by God's grace, Phil, and you?
I'm doing very well as well.
Splendid.
Yeah, I hope your weekend was good.
Yeah, it was a wonderful one. You know, these days it's been cold.
Yes.
We've been informed that it's going to get colder.
Yeah.
So we should get things
brace ourselves.
going warmer and all that. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll be fine.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so in our first story today, the official launch of the 24th Conference of Rectors, Vice Chancellors, and Presidents of African Universities, COREVIP 2027, has reignited an important conversation about the future of higher education in Africa. Speaking during the launch, the Secretary General of the Association of African Universities, AAU, Professor Olusola Bandele Oyewole, argued that African universities must move beyond awarding degrees and publishing academic papers to becoming institutions that produce solutions, drive innovation, strengthen economies, and prepare graduates with skills for the future. With artificial intelligence, climate change, unemployment, funding challenges, and rapid technological transformation reshaping societies, the call is for African universities to reposition themselves as engines of development rather than traditional centers of learning. So this basically means that the continent of Africa is preparing for COREVIP 2027. So, Doc, are African universities producing graduates, or we are solving producing graduates or solving Africa's problems? These are some of the things that are coming up as a result of the launch of COREVIP 2027. And we have often spoken on this show about how Africa is doing with regards to education and how much we need to invest in research and all of these things. So generally, I mean, what are your comments ahead of the COREVIP 2027?
First of all, since it's COREVIP, we have to educate people about what COREVIP means.
Absolutely.
If you're hearing the term COREVIP for the first time, it's the Conference of Rectors, Vice Chancellors, and Presidents of Universities Conference. And this conference has always been one of the AAU's flagship programs we run biennially, trying to also bring that conscience back to the role of higher education in Africa. Since 1960, the attention on higher education gave rise to the help of UNECA and co, trying to place emphasis on how we can also position higher education as a very key nimble in transforming our economies in Africa. And we have done pretty well over time, built a very good legacy and trajectory for the essence of higher education. Today, we ask ourselves a very common question, as you put out there: are universities producing graduates or solving Africa's problems? We have come a long way to ask this question because we've seen some signs. I would say this morning, greetings to Professor Olusola Oyewole,
absolutely,
Secretary General for the AAU, and his leadership team, the entire board, and it tells the direction that we're going and the essence of this direction. African universities, for so many years, we've seen the challenges that we were with 20 years ago. We still find them here. Universities are not being versatile like we expect them to be. Universities are not meeting up the agility mark that we expect them to be. Today, universities are more interested in publishing because, yes, globally, you are ranked highly based on your publications. But what is the essence of publications if you are not solving the core problem that university was meant to solve? To train up versatile, globally relevant, locally instrumental graduates who will change the face of things in industry, in government, and in society at large. But today, we actually experiencing the uproar of a lot of negating and, I would say, disturbing results. That is why it's important for the Association of African Universities and her wide community base to revisit again, to recommune at COREVIP, where the university brings the leadership from management to ICT directorate, business, student affairs, every key department or faculty within the university ought to be present. Because that's where we begin to ask ourselves, analyze, examine our progress, and if there's need, forge new ways of ensuring that our universities become the exact mechanical tools that it's supposed to be, transforming lives for a better future and not for the worse. So that's why core event this year is of great significance. But if you ask me, are we producing graduates or solving Africa's problems? If you ask me, Phil, you know the answer. It's not really clear.
That's almost a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Anyway, so to talk a little bit more about if we are producing graduates or solving Africa's problems.
Yeah.
I mean, across many African countries, we have seen figures that suggest to us if indeed we are solving the problems or not. And one part of the factors we can look at is employability.
Yeah.
Often when you visit even university sites from the West or America, you would find university websites telling you how many graduates they churn out every year, and they tell you the employability rate of these graduates from these various universities. Many African universities don't give you these kinds of figures, and it's obvious that it is a huge challenge because when you look country by country in Africa, the rate of employability of graduates is really low. And that is the reason I am interested in the future skills that have been mentioned in the address that Professor Oyewole delivered, because he was talking about digital literacy, critical thinking, entrepreneurship, innovation, artificial intelligence skills, problem solving, and then collaboration. These are things that we lack in this part of our place. Often we have been trained in Africa to basically go do white collar jobs. So what happens to things like entrepreneurship? I'll be glad to see any country in Africa, I don't know yet, I stand to be corrected, to say this is a university of entrepreneurship, where you are teaching entrepreneurship only.
Yeah.
For example, when you talk about UMAT, we're talking about University of Mines. You what to do, for example, you have $100 or 100 cities. You can start from here and go here and go there and go there. And this should be very practical. The reason I'm saying that is because generally when you talk about things of this nature, I have been able to read motivational books and seen people who have been addressed or used as examples in these books, such that these people can easily tell you how they have made money, how they have been influential in various societies, not only in their home countries, across continents. So for you to mention globally relevant graduates in your submission, it does make a huge it makes huge sense to me. So I'm thinking, what can we do to make sure that graduate employability and future skills are one of the key things that are addressed as quickly as possible to give Africa the outlook that we are looking for every graduate? Because if we are unable to do these kinds of things, my fear is that the continent will deteriorate. We have been touted to have the largest group of young people at the moment all over the world. So if we are not looking at these kinds of things, then what exactly are we doing as a continent when it comes to higher education? That's where my focus is on the entire address. So I just hope and believe that even before the conference, this address will challenge all the heads of institutions across the continent, so that by the time we are meeting in 2027, the discussion will be well thought through, will be actionable, and it will come with proper solutions such that when we sit down and have a conversation, we know that we are leaving the conference, going to act on it, and then in 1 month, in 2 months, in 3 months, 1 year, we can show details of work done and results which is already showing. That's all I am looking for. And this.
You're right about that. And you know, universities are institutions on a mission. A mission that is non negotiable, because you're supposed to if a society isn't developing, if we are looking back to see who's responsible, you cannot leave the universities out.
True. I agree.
Because universities teach, we engage in learning, and also community engagement. A university which doesn't engage with the community isn't a university. you should be able to know how you can transform your immediate context. So if you are not making an impact in your context, then you don't know what you are doing.
Yeah.
Secondly, since 2013, we had seen the advent of the term Education 4.0. That kind of education that strictly made emphasis on the introduction of information, communication, and technology as a key number within the curricula.
Yeah.
That we should never compromise on ICT education.
Yeah.
And that's where we see the spring up of digital literacy, information communication, programming, robotics, coding. These skills, AI, all these things spring up out of the Education 4.0 revolution. But guess what? Africa has always played the laggard role.
Yeah.
We are always lagging. We are not first movers. You know why? Because we are always risk prone. We are risk averse.
Yeah.
And any risk averse economy does not grow. Even in investment, the higher the risk, the higher the return.
Sure.
So if you are that risk averse, then you are not ready to grow. You have to step up and make a move. If you fail, you learn. If you win, you are happy.
Yeah.
But we have always waited for the Western economies take the step, make the investment, excel at it, own patent, then we will now go and then continue. How do you go? For example, the AAU is still mandated by the African Union to spearhead the Continental Education Strategy for Africa, CESA. At first, it was supposed to end by 2025, but now it has been extended. So it's now 2035.
Yeah.
So we still have more time to ensure that every institution, from the basic all the way up to tertiary, we don't draw ICT stuff on the ground or use wooden or inanimate objects to depict, but rather we get them.
Yeah.
Where is the gap? Infrastructure. Infrastructure deficit has been the challenge for the African economy. We've always had struggles getting what we need to get what we have to do.
Yeah.
So if today you have people who can't access digital tools, you referred, rightly said, the World Bank has said that Africa is a youthful population.
Yeah.
65% of Africans are within the age of 18 to 35.
Yeah.
So in the future, we have the young people, but how are we positioning ourselves to enjoy this new dividend if we are not investing in them?
Yeah.
We have a lot to lose as a continent. And there's a time all the governments, university leaders are looking at governments because they invest in them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about time all the essential establishments should be made. For example, every university as of now should be having a hub.
True.
Where you nurture entrepreneurs, you incubate ideas, and then you can also own institutions or patent. As at this time, Phil, there's a lot we have to catch up. And I mean, our core will talk more about the issues.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a moment to beat around the bush.
Yeah.
It will be a moment to speak to the issues and see where we are growing and where we are falling back. And then we forge and chart a good way forward, like how we've done with our universities all as well.
Yeah.
So we hope to see everybody there, every university on the face of this African continent and beyond should come to Korevip.
Yeah.
Because we are coming there to speak the issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The other important thing I also want to see addressed is the funding problems that we have always talked about on the show. So I just hope and pray that we are able to have not just the solution, but sustainable solutions.
Yeah.
That's always been the key thing for me. Sustainable solutions. Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on into our next story. And Access Bank Ghana PLC has renewed its partnership with the United Nations Population Fund to strengthen efforts to eliminate obstetric fistula and restore hope and dignity to affected women across the country. The agreement signed at the bank's head office in Accra extends a collaboration that began in 2018 and has been renewed every 3 years to support corrective surgeries and advocacy against the condition. The executive director of retail and SME banking at Access Bank, Eugene Okanse, said the bank has established a fistula trust fund and a digital donation platform to the Chango app, and that more than 300 women have undergone corrective surgery through the initiative since it began. The UNFPA's deputy representative, Dr. Emily Nafambo, said an estimated 700 to 1,200 women develop obstetric fistula in Ghana annually, and that the renewed partnership aims to repair about 200 cases a year, with a target of treating roughly 4,280 women by 2030. So this is a very major issue, obstetric fistula, which affects a lot of women during childbirth most of the time. And it's good to note that, you know, this partnership between the UNFPA and Access Bank is renewed every 3 years. And I'm glad to see that the numbers that they have projected are looking good so far. But it just goes to tell you how much this is a major issue. Now, the figures show that between 700 to 1,200 women or cases are recorded annually. So I'm beginning to think, what exactly can we do to make sure these things do not happen? As much as there's a system to correct these things, I want to believe that if you prevent them, we will be better off than, you know, having them and then going through surgeries and all of these things to correct them, because I do understand from stories and videos I've seen that it is not really cool. It's really
very bad,
painful, and the stigma even that comes with it because of, you know, other things that are associated with it. It's really, really, excuse me to say, a little bit dehumanizing. So I hope and pray that we can be able to come to that point where these things can be prevented. By scientifically, I don't think we are there yet, especially because this is Africa, but we will see how far we get. But Doc, let me know your comments about this.
You know, this challenge of obstetric fistula is one very disturbing one. I mean, sometimes only the woman can tell you what kind of pain they go through when their labor is prolonged. An abnormal hole that is created between the birth canal and the bladder that causes that kind of hole to appear, and I mean it obstructs your safe and sound delivery of the baby. The blood that you lose, the pain that you endure, the life that it claims. I mean, it's something that it has to be solved. But here we are. It all boils down on a very agile and responsive, spontaneous, ubiquitous health care system.
Yeah, I like the sound of healthcare. I like it.
And those words I use are very important. The agility is that we are quick to deliver healthcare to anybody who needs it. The spontaneity is that it has to be common. It has to be everywhere. It got to a time in our country, due to poor road networks to certain areas of this country, we had to improvise or be innovative, if I use the right way, to now transport medications through drones. It tells you how difficult it is for some places or some people at some places to access healthcare. You saw what happened. It came to the news. If you saw a woman who was placed on a motorbike because she was in labor and she had to be rushed, and the motorbike had to get to a place that there's a flood, and they all ended up in the river. I mean, this is
people have actually lost their lives because of these kinds of things.
It's unfortunate.
So for me, the thing is this: when it comes to healthcare, we are not doing great. We are doing well, but we are not doing great. And I don't like how much we pat ourselves on the back and say we are doing well or we have done well, when there are still major, almost basic issues that still are pending or very common with us. So I feel like when it comes to healthcare, we need to upgrade quickly. I've always said on this show that if I ever had a chance to be president of this country, one of the things we will have to look at, where we will have to invite all the stakeholders and make a proper plan, would include health, such that regardless of who even comes into office, nothing can be changed. All you have to do is to continue whatever the former president who's gone out of office has done. you have to continue.
Yeah.
Because these are our mothers, these are our wives, these are our sisters, these are aunties. In this, everybody is related to a woman at some point of your life. We all have mothers. So imagine your mother going through this. Imagine your sister going through. Imagine your wife going through these kinds of things. This is how much we need to look at this. We need to try to make it relatable and understand that we cannot overlook things of this nature. That's why I was thinking. I was talking from the beginning. If it is even a preventable thing, it will be great. But then again, some of these things are natural. Some of these things are as a result of many things. I looked into some of the things that can cause this obstetric fistula things. One of them includes when young girls are growing up, where it has to do with nutrition. What it means is that poverty comes to play in here.
Very important.
Because if you were well-to-do, you probably will feed well. So whatever this girl children need, they will get them in terms of their meals, and then they'll be properly nourished. And by the time they are grown, their pelvic sites are properly developed, and then when they have children, they won't have this to go through these kind of things. So it comes from a long way. It's not just about having UNFPA and Access Bank trying to do something and then doing corrective surgeries. I mean, going through a surgery is one crazy thing on its own, you know. And some reports I've seen suggest that even to have sex after these kinds of things is almost sometimes impossible.
Yeah,
for women.
I mean, there's a lot of pain.
It's just crazy.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm looking at it from a preventive point, such that if it can be done from way back, like I said, one of the things or major things is nutrition, so that these girl children can be able to grow well, develop their natural whatevers, and then when it is time to have children in the future, they won't have issues of this nature. One other thing also comes that comes to mind is early marriage for some of these girls, because they are not properly developed, they are not old, yet they are married off to people, and then of course, because they are married, they would have sex, and then they are pregnant. These are some of the problems. So I feel like as a society or as a country, we need to take a proper look at what the causes are. The surgeries to correct these things, they are fine. But I'll be glad if we can look at the things that can rather prevent them from happening than, you know, getting there and then now we are doing surgeries and all of these things to correct them.
Yes, Phil. And more so, I agree with you on what you said. You know, if you look at the challenge, it is when labor is prolonged.
True.
And the core challenge in this issue, if somebody is in labor, just enter a hospital and then you have your delivery. What causes a prolongment? You are in a country where today you can die if you enter into any hospital and say there's no bed. It's becoming an anthem, no bed syndrome. Many people have died. Recently, somebody died because they entered the hospital and said, there's no bed for you. So whilst they are idling around the lobby, dead person, casualty. Why is it so? People are unable to afford healthcare. 2008, Ghana had, we commissioned or we launched a national health insurance scheme, which purposely gave women more advantage. It covered maternity, antenatal, and a whole lot of things. What happened? Fast forward today, we claim it's still there. You can Google, is Ghana enjoying free maternal care? Google say yes. Policy-wise, we are enjoying free maternal care. But still, 95% of women or people say that they still have to do out-of-pocket payment at the hospitals. And if somebody has to go through this kind of difficulty to be able to access healthcare, even maternal care, when they are in labor, why wouldn't they prolong it? Why wouldn't they incur this damage of fistula? This case. So we need to see, get the nexus between policy and reality. Policy, yes, but reality is different. Today you go to a hospital, your health insurance card is not enough. That card is not enough. You still have to be paying people to be able to give you that professional service that you're looking for, or else you will go and fill your own form. So that's unfortunate. And these issues are as a result of people finding it difficult to access healthcare. And if they cannot pay for the healthcare, what would they do?
This is sad because we are just basically pointing out the gaps in our systems, and it saddens my heart to know that like these are the challenges we have to deal with. One other challenge beyond this card situation also is that this kind of care is also concentrated in just a few facilities. That's another challenge. So what it means is that many possible affected women live far away from the centers where some of these services are provided. So it keeps telling us how much danger our women are in when it comes to this thing. So I feel like we said in the beginning, we need to do so much more when it comes to healthcare. Every little thing which sadly we are overlooking must become a major problem we are looking at, because these are basic things. These things we are talking about are basic things. Health is one of the primary things every human being deserves to have, proper health care. So if we are dealing with these kind of situations in this country or in this continent at this time in this year, like it's not cool.
Yeah,
it's not cool.
And I would say big thanks to Access Bank.
Absolutely,
for stepping up to this, the UNFPA, because it's something that should have all the banks on board. Private sector should also come in to support. Sometimes you just want to say, well, if government doesn't go what it takes, let's support. Let's support the women. They form the biggest base when it comes to the informal sector.
True.
So why don't we support them? And this could be, I would say Ghana's or the best corporate social responsibility of the year, the CSR of the year, where banks came together to support women or help them, save them from incurring anything on obstetric fistula, because it is something that they are all going through. Some are going through it. It's all because they're not getting the attention they need medically. And if this happens, we lose a lot of people. The child may be born all right, but the woman may not be the same afterwards. So we should be able to come on board. It's a call to all of them to support. Access Bank has done very well. And we look next year, maybe perhaps we can have lots more coming on board. Since it's Obstetric Fistula Day, it's a moment for women to also be more cautious and also take responsibility when they are within that period of labor. They should ensure they seek help from doctors. They should go and do the checkups. Even though there's no money, go and do something about it, because your health also matters as well.
The antenatal period is really key to some of these things. All right, we'll jump on to the next story. And still in Ghana, the cocoa regulator, Cocoa Board, says the country's cocoa production is expected to fall by at least 16% in the 2026 to 2027 season, citing weather effects, the crop's natural fruit-bearing cycle, and disease. Responding to questions from Reuters, the regulator said the decline reflects the likely effects of El Nino conditions, excessive rainfall in May and June this year, and the cocoa tree's tendency to alternate between higher and lower yields years. It said a low Cheryl load, the number of small pods that survived to maturity in the western and western north regions was consistent with these patterns. Cocoa Board said the outlook in these two regions, which together account for more than half of Ghana's output, has been worsened by swollen shoot disease, aging cocoa farms, and a rise in illegal gold mining, known locally as galamsey, which causes farms to be taken over by miners. The projection follows warnings from farmers in the west and western north regions, who reported sharply reduced pod counts this season. Cocoa Board said it has taken steps to limit losses, including rehabilitating infected farms in the western north, expanding insecticide and fungicide spraying, and reintroducing nationwide free fertilizer distribution scheme for the 2026-2027 crop year. This is very disturbing news because on the international scale, this means that we are going to be losing some money as a country.
Very difficult one.
And we all know where Ghana stands when it comes to cocoa production.
Very unfortunate.
I mean, it's sad. But one of the key things I've realized in this story, which I think needs serious attention, is the weather as a recurring threat to cocoa output. I don't think that we have done enough when it comes to considering climate change.
Yeah.
Because we have been talking about climate change for at least the last 10 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And if we are still unable to figure out how climate will cost us with regards to one of the major producers in this country that makes us money, then I'm afraid something is very, very wrong. Because I don't know how we are managing the situation, because like I said, it's been there.
Yeah.
Between 10 and 20 years at least, we have been talking about climate change in the continent of Africa. So if we have not done enough to do something about this, I mean, when it comes to things like galamsey and those ones, we know where the problem is. It's a human thing. But this one is a natural cycle. In Europe and America, you are able to have your meteorologists and other people who do weather-related stuff tell you how things will work out. They're able to tell you even when a hurricane is coming, when a typhoon is coming, you have to relocate to higher lands, things of this nature. Why are we not able to do things of this nature? And this brings me to the point where I say that we have always not invested in research in Africa.
Absolutely. I think I was going to take it from that point.
I just took the words out of your mouth.
Phil, the thing is, they're saying that you put your money where your mouth is.
Absolutely.
If you look at Ghana's gains economically, we export a lot of cocoa. Before gold,
yeah.
You see, that's what makes the whole thing. Before gold became the new golden ball on the block,
yeah.
Ghana's biggest exports, what we're known for globally, was cocoa.
Yeah.
And we were the best suppliers when it comes to the best cocoa to Switzerland, to the UK, and a whole lot more. Today, we found a new golden boy, and we just play with cocoa.
Yeah.
Any country that is serious about their economy wouldn't have taken cocoa for granted.
Absolutely.
Knowing that seasons change. You see, somebody asked a question, what is climate change? And what has it got to do with our economy? Today, we are seeing it. Let me just break it down. When was the last time you washed and your things dried, very warm dry?
Dry, yeah.
When was that?
That's true.
For the past 3 months.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been true. In fact, for the past 3 months, it's been raining heavily, and now it's not raining heavily like it's rain, but now it is not. The sun is not shining like it used to shine.
Yeah.
It is no more scorchy as it used to be. You can spend the whole day and it's quite cloudy and humid, and then you are just seeing the day go to an end. Like it's going to rain, but it won't rain.
Yeah.
Cocoa conditions also differ. Cocoa requires a very hot atmosphere, hot weather, 21, 32 degrees Celsius, with humidity somewhere around 1,500 to 2,000 annual rainfall to make cocoa thrive. But you are not seeing that pattern for the next 3 months. The news that came from the meteorologists that Ghana is beginning to experience some cold weather.
Yeah.
So we should brace ourselves for some cold. We're not even in December, but we're experiencing cold in July, August.
Yeah.
It tells you that climate change indeed is real. And if you were a serious country, you invest in R&D to see how then do we nest cocoa and grow cocoa under conditions better so we can still increase our exports. We rather subletted the whole cocoa production to the farmers, making it a farmer's choice.
Yeah.
Look at the recent experience they had with the cocoa proceeds. A great deal for someone to say, I will not enter cocoa again, because they've incurred huge losses.
Yeah.
Are we being real here? And today, Cocoa Board is saying that we should brace ourselves for a drop. Who will lose? Yes, the farmer will lose, all right, but Cocoa Board will lose as well.
Yeah.
What investment is Cocoa Board making to ensure that the future of cocoa in Ghana wouldn't be a history? Because Ghana used to export a lot of things.
Yeah.
We're known for so many things, but today we only know a few in our export portfolio. Phil, truth is one. If you go to countries like China, when does China begin to produce cocoa? But China today, through advanced research, has been able to find ways and means to grow cocoa and to condition the cocoa to grow appropriately, even to dry it. If you go to our villages, you know how to dry cocoa. On some tables, I
some
see
mats,
them.
Yeah.
Ordinary.
I think there were pictures of
dilapidated structures.
Yeah.
With technology is government provided to support them to advance it. So when will it distant dry? It's always going to get moist.
Yeah.
Because there's no sunshine these days.
Yeah.
So what is government doing? We were just playing the loafer, seeing these peasant farmers do the job, and then we pay them at a short change rate. Today, we are now declaring the doom ahead. It means we are not ready to secure our future as cocoa exporters. Because if we're really serious about this, we will invest in all the areas during the cocoa value chain. From planting, from nursing, from it being sustained, the weeding, the pruning, and also the harvesting. You can't leave the farmer alone to use their impoverished means to do all that and then finally come and then sustain them and say it's global dynamics. We should be serious as a country. We should be serious as a country.
The other worst part of this story is this. Ivory Coast, somehow, some way, might be affected as well. You know, Ghana and Ivory Coast are the world's top producers.
I mean, the trend borders in Africa.
Yeah. Now, they are also expected to fall about 10% or more in the next cocoa season. West Africa's cocoa outlook is not looking good. So, like you're saying, you just talked about China.
Yeah.
China doesn't have the climate naturally to grow cocoa.
Yes.
But they have found a way around it.
Yes.
Why? Because they did the research.
Yes.
Going away even from cocoa, Malaysia now is doing palm nuts.
Yes.
Meanwhile, their climate does not support these kinds of things. So the question you ask is just what I'm going to re-echo. What are the governments or the countries doing about this? Climate change is here, it is real, it's not going to go away. If we are not going to do anything about it, you see the 16% drop, I'm afraid we'll be coming down 50% and things like that. And before you know it, we will not have anything to boast of again in this part of Africa, so that we'll say that Ivory Coast and Ghana are the top leading producers of cocoa. Because what China is doing, we know what China is doing.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the automobile industry now. They are taking over with the JTORs and things like that. I mean, just think about it. Before you know it, give it 5 years, give it 10 years, everybody will be looking to China to go get cocoa. And the kind of research they have put into this just tells you how much they have developed themselves such that they won't be able to, lose out in the future. They are trying to take over the world. So for a thing that comes to us naturally, which is a natural gift, I wonder what we want to do to protect it and safeguard it. But the ball is in our court. It's the only, whatever the
it is the future. It is a future we're trying to build here. That's the issue. The future is not looking so bright if these things are happening. If for the past 60 years, the nature of cocoa harvesting and cultivation looks the same, the farmer does the same impoverished things. There is no technology, there is no mechanization, and the farmer still, the way they dry it, it's what kills me.
Yeah.
And the same method, same approach into this future, 21st century, we are not serious.
Anyway, I just hope that we'll be able to wake up out of these kinds of things. Africa, let's do better. West Africa, let's do better. Let's not lose out on this as a result of climate change. We'll be back after this break with a lifestyle segment. Would you mind? Stay tuned.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Are you a university, college, high school, private organization, NGO, individual professor, instructor or facilitator seeking to take advantage of the numerous benefits of online education? Look no further. The AAU eLearn Africa LMS is a great opportunity to begin your journey to online course development and creation for teaching, learning and training purposes. AAU eLearn Africa LMS, which is a partnership between the Association of African Universities and eLearn Africa, has made available ease to use online learning tools to all stakeholders within the educational ecosystem of the African continent. This is to enhance teaching and learning in the bid to expand online learning opportunities for students in Africa. The online platform is open and available for free to all stakeholders and facilitates virtual access to classes without needing the other tools such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, among others. For more information, visit www.elearnafricalms.com or contact us via aaulms@aau.org or estherm@elearnafrica.com. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at AAU eLearn Africa LMS.
For 60 years, the Association of African Universities, AAU, has championed collaboration, innovation, and excellence in higher education across Africa. For 6 decades, universities across the continent have worked together to advance knowledge, develop human capital, and drive Africa's transformation. Now, as the AAU celebrates its Diamond Jubilee, the continent's higher education community is preparing for a landmark gathering. From 20th to 23rd July 2027, Nairobi Safari Park Hotel, Kenya, will host the 24th Conference of Rectors, Vice Chancellors, and Presidents of African Universities, COREVIP 2027, to commemorate AAU's 60th anniversary celebration. Co-hosted by KCA University, this special edition of COREVIP will bring together university leaders from across Africa, government policymakers, global higher education partners, industry leaders, development organizations, technology innovators, research institutions, youth and student representatives, and other higher education stakeholders. Convened under the theme Universities for Africa's Future, repositioning African universities for resilience, relevance, and global impact, the conference narrative connects leadership, investment, innovation, skills, AI, partnerships, and policy. Positioned as a springboard for the future, the program uses the anniversary to launch new initiatives, establish legacy mechanisms, secure commitments, generate declarations, and create investment opportunities among the numerous engagements, as the conference would be a continental policy platform attracting heads of states, presidents, prime ministers, education ministers, and development banks, among others. The conference also offers an opportunity for various communities of practice in higher education to meet, network among themselves to strengthen their professional collaboration, and plan training sessions to enhance their delivery capacity. These categories of personnel include academic leaders, bursars and finance officers, university librarians, registrars and academic affairs officers, quality assurance officers, ICT and chief digital officers, student affairs and counseling officers, university advancement and partnership officers, researchers and student leaders. COREVIP 2027 sponsors are not only exhibitors, but integrated into investment fora, roundtables, partnership marketplace, reception events, innovation pavilion, and an award ceremony. Universities and other academic networks are invited to leverage the AAU's 60th anniversary summit to organize their mini summit alongside the Nairobi event. Be part of this historic Diamond Jubilee celebration. Register today and join us in Nairobi, Kenya from 20th to 23rd July 2027.
Hello, Africa. Keep watching AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
So welcome back from the break, and this is still the Hello Africa Morning Show. Welcome to the lifestyle segment. My name is Jemima Deladem Duchi. But today we want to have a very interesting conversation. But before then, we know that every election season, Ghanaian politicians come together with promises, slogans, and carefully crafted images designed to win our votes. But the real question is, what happens after the votes are counted and after the win? And how do these promises hold up once a party is in power? That is the question at the heart of a pioneering new book that is putting Ghana on a global political marketing map. Dr. Joyce Mayo, a political marketing expert, has altered political branding in Ghana, designing and delivering the political brand promise, published by Pilgrave Macmillan and Springer Nature, one of the world's leading academic publishers. So the book actually goes beyond the conventional focus on election campaigns to examine what happens after politicians win power and how over-promising and under-delivering has damaged political brands in Ghana. And it carries forward by former President, His Excellency John Ejekon Kufuor. Doc, please, you're welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
That's great. I'm well. Yourself?
I'm doing well. We're glad to have you.
Pleasure.
So, this is very interesting, actually, political branding. But just to begin with a conversation, what really brought about you having the mind to write something on political branding? Because I'm sure, just like, the intro had said, we look at, prior to elections, whatever goes on there, the songs we hear, the messages, the slogan, and everything like that. And you sat down and you thought about branding, but in the political setting, what actually gave birth to the book?
Thank you very much for this interesting question. But I wrote this book because I had already done an MPhil where my research focused on political branding and voter choice in Ghana. So during that time, I read a lot and I realized that we've discussed political branding from several dimensions. And it was clear that the promises that politicians put forward has a lot to do with their brand. And when they put those promises forward, whether they are able to keep it or not, it has implication for their brand, right? So after my MPhil in 2016, I paid particular attention to the elections and I saw the promises that were being thrown around by politicians, almost all the political parties. And that made me to question if indeed they understand the ramifications of over-promising and under-delivering, having read, for my MPhil. So my questions, I never got answers, even in the literature. So I decided to pursue a doctoral research in political marketing, where I focus on the branding bit, but shift attention to the promise made and the promise kept as a branding technique. So after my PhD and looking at what happened in the 2020 election and 2024 elections, it confirmed a lot of the arguments I've made as a doctoral research. So I said that somebody needs to let politicians understand that branding is not just about the logo. It's not just about those beautiful campaign songs. It's not about just focusing on the leader or the candidate and all that. But there is another dimension which is really at the center of positioning. Branding is about positioning. And so somebody needs to let them know. And so I decided to go on to write this book. So this book on political branding discusses political branding as has been done in the literature, but picks it from a different dimension that has been overlooked, yet critical to how politicians succeed or fail. So that is how come I wrote the book.
Okay, that's great. I mean, most of us, just like in your submission you had said, most of us associate political branding to the jingles, the songs, the posters, and I mean, maybe the promises, if I should say. But your book, I think, urges that branding does not stop after the election. What would you say branding after the election, post-election, looks like or should be?
Thank you. So when you look at the literature and studies that has been done in the area of political marketing, communication, and branding, it suggests like all you need is to put those principles in place to win the elections. Okay, that is the impression that has been created by extensive literature. Like you need those campaign songs. You have to make sure your candidate is simply articulates how they dress. They are all part of branding, right? But those ones are what we call pre-election branding. It connects those political elements with the market prior to the elections. But after the election, what happens? Remember, prior to the election, all these things you did made the market to believe in you, to accept you, and to support you. That support must be sustained post-elections because definitely 4 years will come soon. And you come back, to us. So what happens? After 4 years, you come and start all over again. It doesn't work like that, right? So I'm saying that all those campaign songs, all those wonderful things that they do are good, but they are just, pre-election. When elections are won, you need to ensure you sustain that support that you have. And a lot of argument in the literature have said that globally, the political market keeps shifting support. Those that voted for you this year might not vote for you in the next 4 years. Why? Because they discern and there are things that they consider. So in government, branding, which is effective positioning of political elements and government, is meant for you to sustain that support. The value that they placed on you for which they voted for you, you must keep that intact. And so that is what I'm arguing in the book, that pay attention to post-election branding, because you will come again and ask us to vote for you, isn't it? Even if not you as a candidate, your party is coming with a different. You want to sustain the relationship and the support you garnered, you want to keep it intact so that next time when you come, you have those people. So that is what the post-election bit is about. But the argument is that there are several factors that, causes the market to keep supporting you. One of them is delivery. Because when you make the promise during the campaign, people will weigh and say that based on what they are saying, indeed, if they are able to keep it, my life probably would be better under a certain leadership and under a certain party in government, right? Those promises raise expectations. And that is where they build the connection with you for which they would want to vote for you. If you don't keep the promise, what happens? Expectations, people get disappointed. And so that affection they had for you, that connection begins to deplete. And that is how come literature has said that the political market is becoming increasingly punitive because successive governments have failed to meet the expectations of the political market.
That's great. I mean, this is very, very interesting. But over the years, Ghana has seen several governments come in and, like we are saying, with big promises and then all that. From your political branding perspective, what happens to a political brand when it's over promises but under delivers?
I think this question has an obvious answer. Because if you disappoint people...
Because we've seen it play out a lot of times in our elections.
But you look at the 2020 elections and look at the 2024 elections. I think the answer is clear. like I said, when you make promises, you raise the expectation of the market.
That's true.
It's not just you saying anything, but you are building connection with the market. You are giving them reasons to vote for you. So when they do, and you fail to keep your promise, certainly, I'm not sure they will easily forgive you. You understand? The market will respond.
Yeah.
But as to whether it will be positive or negative, I think the 2020 elections, 2016, 2020, 2024, should tell us what we are likely to experience when political parties and governments are unable to fulfill their promise. But that is not to say that every promise that they make should be kept. They need to anyway, but sometimes realities in governments impact on their ability to deliver. The point I'm trying to make is that while we understand that sometimes the circumstances simply makes it unable, the circumstances impact on their leadership governance as such that they are not always able to keep the promise. I'm only saying that be aware that there are consequences to you not being able to keep the promise.
Yeah. So I mean, you described broken and deficits in value delivery as things that erode trust and lead to what we call political brand avoidance.
Yeah.
But the question I want to ask is, what does political brand avoidance looks like? I mean, in practicality, and is voter apathy in Ghana partly a product of this?
Yes. So political brand avoidance is simple as the market pushing you aside to go for an alternative. And as you mentioned, deficit in value delivery. Study shows that accounts largely for that action of the political market. And this is it. When politicians make promises, it comes in a certain shape and form. It has a nature. The promises they make has a nature. Now, when delivery fails to meet that nature, or delivery is not equal to the shape and form of the promise, we have what we call deficit in value delivery. In other words, when you make a promise, you raise expectations. When your delivery does not meet that expectation, there is a gap. That gap is what we call deficit in value delivery. The point is that you have delivered anyways, but to what extent is that delivery meeting the expectations that you raised when you made the promises? That gap is problematic and cause a lot of problems. And so oftentimes you hear politicians talk as if the political market is ungrateful because they have fixed rules. That's the truth. They have built hospitals. They've implemented a lot of promises that have impacted on our lives. So why is the market being so punitive? Or why are they voting against us in this way? And people will say the margin that we lost, and all those things. The reason is, it's not as if the market is ungrateful or we don't appreciate the hospitals and the schools and the amazing things they have done. The question is, to what extent are those things meeting the expectations that were raised by you as a politician, because of the kind of promise you put. And sometimes they make a promise, they deliver, and the assumption is that we've done something, and so they should appreciate. If I'm not satisfied, you may have done that thing, you may have constructed the road, you may have built the hospital, right? But if that didn't meet my expectation, or I feel you didn't do exactly what you said, I mean, you can't fault me, right? So that is the issue. So we are saying that when there is a gap in the promise and delivery, that gap is what we call deficit in value delivery, and it has implication because the political market, does not get satisfied with what you promised, and the consequences are that they may choose another party over you, and so you are avoided. That is political brand avoidance.
Okay, that's great. And also, I see that your book draws on real life experiences of politicians and a leading political party now, of course, in Ghana. But I don't want us to mention names of any political parties. But what are some of the most striking things that you have discovered about how political branding actually works, I mean, on ground?
Yeah. So political branding in Ghana, the chapter 1 of the book discusses how we are faring.
Okay.
And politicians are doing well, to be honest, because when you look at what has happened in other developed democracies, it's not extremely different. There's a paper I'm working on with Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, and John Mahama, and you could see the similarities. So in terms of applying the principles, we are doing well.
Looks like we don't see it.
Yes. In terms of how we apply the principles, yes, we are doing well. But like I told you, branding essentially is about differentiation. Branding is about political elements. And when I say political element, I'm talking about the party as an organization, the leader of the party, and the promises they put forward. Those three are called political elements. So branding is meant for you to clearly differentiate your party, your candidates, and the policies from competitors so that the market is clear whom they want to go for. Now, if you are able to do all the things they do, including the jingles and the beautiful campaign songs that we all dance to and all that, it helps, positioning. But what really connects the market, it's what we call moment of truth experience. That kind of thing, that parties, government leaders do for us to feel the worth of bringing them into government, it's what we call branding. And during my study, like you said, I studied the political party in our country. So the book is not a summary of existing literature, it's a case study. And you realize that politicians understand that they need to position themselves effectively. They understand that the market is competitive, the political environment is competitive. They understand that the political consumers are punitive. They may not forgive you if you don't meet the expectation. They do. And so they do all the things they do to differentiate or position themselves. But like I said, what will give the market that experience that they will not forget, which borders on delivery, is what is a bit lacking from my finding. When you read the book, I argue that because the promise and delivery gives real experience to the people on the ground, if the roads are fixed and I'm driving on, I can feel experience. When I used to travel 2 hours to go to hospital, and now there's a hospital in my area, so 30 minutes, I feel it. I used to pay school fees, now I don't pay. Those practical, tangible things, when they experience it, that's the moment of true experience with the leader, with the government, with the party in government, and all that. So politicians are aware that these things have implication, it impacts on their leadership. But thinking of delivery prior to making the promise, I didn't find that. So they know that we have to keep the promise, but there's a concept, pre-election delivery checks. You need to be sure that what you are saying is feasible. You can do it because there are consequences if you don't. And that side was a bit lacking from my engagement with politicians, because most of them will talk about all these things I've said because they are aware. But have you thought of delivery prior to making the promise? Was a difficult question for them to answer. But that is also at the core of ensuring that delivery happens in the form and nature, so that you are not avoided.
That's true. Now let's shift a bit to social media. In the age of social media, political branding has taken a whole new dimension. But I want us to talk about how has this digital space changed the way, Ghanaian politicians design and deliver their brand promises, and does it make it harder, or let me say easier, for accountability? With the way social media has become now and how we measure the delivery of the government, has it made it easier, or you think there's still more work to be done?
I wouldn't say it's easier, but I think it's a platform for politicians to be able to let the market know what they've done, so that they get credit for what they've done, which is part of branding. Because I told you, branding is about effective positioning, how you are able to differentiate. And I also said that it is the moment of truth experience that the market helps the market to really say that I feel my life is better. So social media is a platform for you to engage the market, so that they are able to see what you're able to do. So you account to the people. these days you see politicians posting when they go to unveil something or they cut sword and all that. Yes, they are communicating with the market. They are telling them, you know, we have delivery communication. You want to let the market know that you've done this because you know that if you don't do it, they'll punish you, okay? And so when you do it, you also want to let them know. So the social media, it's an environment, it's a platform for them to be able to easily engage with their market and be more accountable, okay? Don't forget that in political marketing, we have segmentation and targeting. There is a number of political market on social media that you owe them that accountability. So it's a platform for you to engage that segment and let them know what you're able to do, what is work in progress and what is yet to come, so that you get credit for what you've done, which you need for your effective positioning.
That's true. So we're almost coming to the end of the conversation. Your book actually carries a foreword from former President John Ejekun Kufuor. What did it mean, I mean, to have his voice associated with this work, and did his perspective as a former president of the, I mean, of the state add anything to, I mean, how your thought or your subject around the book or your perspective has been?
Of course, to get the former president of our country to forward a book is huge.
Yeah, that's very huge.
Somebody told me this is gold, which is true, because he's been a leader before. And the things I'm talking about, making promises, over promising, delivery, the consequences and all that, things that I think he's experienced it. Okay. So for him to forward, it means that he's seen the value of the book, the arguments I'm putting forward, and how it has the potential to shift, you know, our thinking processes around political branding. Okay. I said, in modern day politics, political branding has moved beyond logos and symbols and dancing and jumping and all that to real experience. So yes, having him to forward was a big deal for me. And it meant a lot because, of course, it makes the book more valuable. Because he wouldn't forward a book if he thinks that it's not useful, it's not impactful, or there's no deep insight or knowledge in there. So it meant a lot. But knowing that I was going to get to him to forward the book, I needed to make sure that it's quality. Because of course, Paragraph will never publish a book if it has no substance at all. But of course, I knew I was going to a former president that have lived this. And so I also needed to make sure that the work was good, and indeed it's something that if you read and you apply, because there's a framework in there that provides strategies and tactics to see the promise, design, and delivery as an integral part of branding. So yes, knowing that I was going to go to him, I had to make sure that it was simply a great work or a great piece.
That's great, actually. I mean, that's a good one there. I mean, then it becomes very valuable, and then because we have somebody who has lived a life, just like you said, who has a lot to tell us. So now let's talk briefly about the launch, when it's happening, where, and yes, who is invited?
Okay, so it's on Thursday, this Thursday, 6th of August at 3 p.m. sharp at the Lancaster Accra Hotel, former Golden Tulip. Yeah, that is it. And in fact, I need politicians to be there because I'm going to make a brief presentation and then we'll unveil the book. And then, so I need politicians, but also students. Yes. Because now we have a lot of students in the area of political marketing, political communication. They need to come and understand that it's not just being on TV to articulate your views, but delivery must happen for you to get, you know, that support or sustain that support. So students in the area of political marketing, communication, branding are invited. And in fact, the general public, if you have time, you can pass through, because we are talking about Ghana, and we are talking about a special topic, branding, from a promise made and a promise kept perspective. So
that's great.
If you have time, pass through.
And a promise kept. Yeah. That's great. Of course, Doug, I'm coming, so be expecting me there. All right, thank you very much. It's been an amazing conversation. And honestly, this is very unique because we hear people talk about branding all the time. And very less attention has been given to the political side of it. So,
Yeah.
Doc, thank you very much. And it was amazing having you here.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, so this has been the Hello Africa Morning Show, and this has been the Lifestyle segment. And it's going to be interesting on Thursday, 6th August, so make sure you are there. My name is Jemai Madaladem Doche, and we'll see you same time next time. Have a lovely day.
I'm here with the Association of African Universities Television, AUTV. I just want to say that without the media, you won't know what's going on in the world. Even with the media, you sometimes don't know what's going on in the world. So you need to tune in to the reliable sources who are really on the front lines, who can give you the information you need and give you facts, not conjecture, give you real news, not fake news. And this is the place to find it, AUTV.